Professional development exists in most career areas to maintain high quality practice and is considered a career imperative. Across a number of career fields, increasing performance pressures direct professionals to pursue more effective, efficient, and evidence-based practices that deliver improved outcomes. In education, professional development is touted as the most powerful strategies school systems can employ to improve teacher effectiveness. This dissertation is an exploration of teacher professional development through inquiry cycles to satisfy the requirements for a doctoral degree in learning and organizational change at Baylor University. I'm Addie Kelly. Welcome to my dissertation defense presentation. Let's dive into these 6 key aspects of my dissertation. We'll begin with a statement of the problem. Over a century of research has highlighted the importance of teachers and their essential role in school improvement. Consequently, most, if not all, teachers have participated in some form of professional development or professional learning during their careers. Yet, a growing body of research suggests that traditional professional development is not effective in changing teacher practice to increase student achievement. Furthermore, teachers' voices are largely missing from the current scholarship. While much research has been conducted to establish effective teacher professional learning characteristics, rarely are teachers' voices present in the findings. This research, my dissertation, amplifies 4 teachers' voices and their perceptions and experience with Teaching Lab's inquiry cycle model of teacher professional learning. As we begin, it's important to note the significance of the expenditure on teacher professional development in the United States. One study suggests that American teachers may spend an estimated 5 to 10% of their working time on professional development activities. School districts and states spend around $5,000 or $6,000 per teacher per year, and that number is estimated to be about $81,000 per school for every 50 students. In 2013, that number calculated to be an average of about 7.6% of schools and districts' total budgets, compared to a mere 1 to 3% of the budget on professional development in 1995. In sum, the United States spends an estimated $18 billion annually on professional development, and yet 70% of teachers either remain the same or even declined on their annual evaluations over their last 3 years of practice. Schools, districts, and states that have demonstrated the most gains in student achievement have established 3 common core components in their educational model: high-quality curriculum, aligned assessments, and effective teacher professional learning. All 3 of these elements must work together in tandem and support each other to create successful education models that increase student achievement. So then, what exactly is effective professional learning? With the daunting mountain of evidence against traditional professional development, what elements exist in professional development for teachers to ultimately improve student achievement? Researchers debate the exact formula for the most effective professional learning model. However, there are 4 key components that are integral to creating effective professional learning experiences. First, effective professional learning is content-specific in its focus. Effective professional learning is simultaneously grounded in developing teachers' subject matter knowledge and intentionally focused on discipline-specific pedagogical content knowledge. Next, effective professional learning uses active participation strategies. From a constructivist viewpoint, since learning, knowledge, and understanding are socially constructed, teachers require active participation in the learning. The third characteristic of effective professional learning is sustained duration on a single topic or problem of practice. Effective professional learning provides adequate time for teachers to study, learn, practice, apply, and reflect on their practice throughout the school year. And finally, the last component of effective professional learning is that it is job-embedded time. Rather than professional development workshops during the summer, after school, or on weekends, teachers need on-the-job professional support during the school day and throughout the school year. Based on an accumulation of previous research, one organization, Teaching Lab, uses a professional development model called Head, Heart, and Habits to execute teacher professional learning based on those 4 characteristics we just discussed. So even though billions of dollars are spent annually on teacher professional development, there is still a disconnect that continues to happen between teachers' learning and student achievement. Therefore, the purpose of this study was to investigate teachers' perspectives of teacher professional development and their perception of the impact the inquiry cycle model had on their student outcomes. The central phenomenon of the study was the teacher participation in Teaching Lab's professional learning model. The study also examined the relationship between professional learning and student achievement for teachers from Louisiana. The present research also examined teachers' practices, described teachers' perspectives in their own words, and investigated changes in student achievement in the bounded context of Teaching Lab's inquiry cycle professional learning model. So Yin asserts that case studies should be grounded in a specific research focus formed by a question. That's why this is the main research question from my study. In what ways did Teaching Lab's inquiry cycle professional learning model change the teacher's instructional practice? Now, in order to investigate this main question, I've identified 4 sub-questions that guided both the methodology and the data collection and data analysis of my study. The reason for that was to create congruence from the beginning to the end throughout my study. The theoretical framework underpinning this study is Thomas Guskey's 5 critical levels of professional development evaluation. The framework was used to guide all aspects of my research design, including identifying the research questions, selecting participant samples, and developing data collection and analysis procedures. Let's take just a moment to get an overview of the methodology of this research. The research design selected for the study was an instrumental multiple case study. This was the most appropriate case study design for this research project, primarily because the research questions sought to understand teachers' perspectives or cases to answer research questions grounded in a central theoretical question. Additionally, Louisiana teachers who attended Teaching Lab's professional learning series on the ELA guidebooks curriculum bounded the study. Louisiana was an ideal site for the research because of the attention the state has received regarding its education policy reforms over the last several years. Now, in order to select participants, I used a purposive sampling process across 3 phases to select 4 participants from the pool of teachers in Louisiana. For this study, multiple sources of data were collected. Multiple data sources and the rich, thick descriptions contained within them allows triangulation of the data and increases validity through saturation across the data collection process. Qualitative data analysis is a complex, recursive, and dynamic procedure. So to interpret the data fully and accurately during this case study, I utilized Cresswell and Poth's data analysis spiral to organize, memo, code, interpret, and represent the data. Once the data was collected, I used pattern matching logic to compare the case study findings with my predicted findings that were made before the study was conducted. These predicted findings align with the a priori design of this instrumental multiple case study. It's also important to note that data analysis procedures were conducted in tandem with data collection procedures to inform my data collection efforts within a constructivist worldview. Now, let's get into the findings from the research. The first overarching theme that came to light throughout the data analysis process was the idea of inquiry cycles. Participants across the board identified inquiry cycles as a structure needed to feel supported as they implemented the ELA guidebooks curriculum. The inquiry cycle provided the time and the structure that teachers needed to support them with implementing new strategies. Specifically, participants identified new learning in the skill of asking text-dependent questions to scaffold students' access to complex text. Because of the inquiry cycle model's support, participants felt that they could try out a new questioning strategy in a low-risk environment and seek other teachers' guidance in their cohort as experts in the field. The new learning was more easily transferred to student learning because of the time and support provided to the participants through the inquiry cycle model. Participants also noted that the content of the professional learning experience with Teaching Lab was relevant to their school and classroom context. The participants in the study believed that relevance was fundamental in their satisfaction with the experience. Because participants believed the content of the professional learning experience was relevant to their students' needs, they reported feeling more engaged with the content and more eager to implement their new knowledge and skills once they returned to their own classrooms. The participants in this study also reported a shift in their mindsets, which they credited to the inquiry cycle model. The second overarching theme that was found in the data analysis process is this idea of collaboration. Now, the participants identified collaboration as being essential for their learning. Teaching Lab planned for teachers to work together during the professional learning experience and inquiry cycles, which provides the structure for reviewing and analyzing student data and reflection on their instructional practices. Collaboration also allowed participants to build stronger working relationships with their colleagues, elevating the group's collective efficacy and the trust that teachers felt among others within their cohort. And the final overarching theme that was brought to light throughout the data analysis process is this idea of pedagogical content knowledge. Participants deepened both their subject matter content knowledge and their pedagogical content knowledge across the professional learning experience, which translated into favorable student outcomes. Experientials were utilized by Teaching Lab as active learning strategies to build participants' knowledge, and participants reported one such experiential was crucial to their understanding of the importance of building knowledge to increase students' reading comprehension. Teachers are the most influential factor affecting students' academic achievement, and teacher professional learning is the mechanism that allows teachers to continually deepen their pedagogical content knowledge and refine their instructional practice. The findings from this research suggest the following implications and recommendations for utilizing inquiry cycles as a professional learning model and for future research. First, implications for teachers. Teachers are the driving force of student success, and professional learning is necessary to prepare teachers for the ever-changing 21st century educational landscape. Teachers should recognize that teaching can be studied and improved and seek professional learning opportunities that address their learning needs and the needs of their students. The findings should encourage teacher agency and inspire teachers to advocate for themselves and for each other. Teachers can use the findings to amplify their voices and perspectives with teacher professional learning. In alignment with the participants in this study, teachers should advocate for collaborative inquiry cycles and relevant content in their professional learning. This study also has implications for school leaders and district administrators. School leaders and district administrators stand to benefit if they listen to teachers' voices on teacher professional learning. Since most teachers will spend a substantial amount of their work time attending professional learning, it's important that school leaders and district administrators choose professional learning initiatives that incorporate teacher professional learning best practices. This research study eliminated two key implications for school leaders and district administrators: organizational support and a facilitator who is both knowledgeable and engaging. Teachers in this study were clear. Support from their school leaders and district administrators played an important role in their ability to implement the knowledge and skills they gained from Teaching Lab's professional learning sequence. Additionally, having a knowledgeable and engaging facilitator helped to increase their learning and motivation to participate in the inquiry cycles. School leaders and district administrators should select professional learning initiatives that utilize a knowledgeable and engaging facilitator and offer their support through time, resources, and encouragement for teachers. Finally, there are implications for professional learning designers and decision makers. Professional learning designers and decision makers are gatekeepers of teacher professional learning. This study presents evidence that collaborative inquiry cycles are an effective model of teacher professional learning that increase teachers' individual pedagogical content knowledge and collective efficacy or social capital. Professional learning designers should implement this model into their professional learning experiences. National, state, and district policymakers should utilize this model when making decisions and setting policies for teacher professional learning requirements. Notably, participants in this study perceived a shift in their mindset that caused an increase in student achievement. This finding affirms the whole teacher approach to teacher professional learning, that attitudes are closely related to teachers' knowledge acquisition and classroom practice. Professional learning must target more than teachers' knowledge to positively affect their instructional practice and ultimately their students' learning. So let's talk for just a moment about distributing the results of this particular research study. I've identified 4 groups of stakeholders that will need to know about this study: professional learning designers and vendors, national and state policymakers, district administrators and school leaders, teachers, and then Teaching Lab staff, board of directors, and potential funders. Now, for each one of these different stakeholders, there are a wide variety of ways to distribute the information. To distribute these findings to professional learning designers and vendors, I plan to both attend several conferences and release a series of blog posts from the Teaching Lab website. To distribute the findings to national and state policymakers, district administrators, and school leaders, I plan to both identify several research journals in which I can publish the findings from this research and also attend several conferences, as I mentioned before. To distribute this information to teachers, I have designed a series of blog posts to distribute from Teaching Lab's website, as well as a social media campaign that utilizes Twitter and Instagram to post short, bite-sized chunks of the findings from the research to generate interest in the teaching community in reading the research, but also so teachers can use those bite-sized chunks of information to advocate for their needs as adult learners. Finally, the materials will be distributed internally at Teaching Lab for its staff, board of directors, and even potential funders. Thank you so very much for attending my dissertation presentation. I look forward to seeing you all soon in the dissertation defense.